Hi, I'm Walsh. I've been breaking yearlings for 25 or 30 years. I like to think of it more as educating the yearling. I find in the fall of their yearling year they're very bored and they're very receptive to training. They're immature physically and mentally. The training we do does not harm them at all physically. It's very light training. Mentally, they get a lot of confidence in themselves from the confidence you give them in the training. And we spend 4 to 6 weeks doing this with them, and then we let them off for the winter. When you bring them back in the spring of their 2-year-old year, if you give them 5 days to a week of a refresher course, you will find that you have a very well broken 2-year-old. I'm now going to show you the procedure I use for educating and training the yearling. Stop, Tony. For our demonstration, we have a yearling filly named Hunter's Folly lent to me by my sister Lynn Lockhart to use. Of course, she's already broken to make the filming easier, but we're going to take her through from day one. This is day one. Okay, this is our first day. I'm going to teach her how to lunge. I like to use a small enclosed area where you can keep with your horse and they won't get away from you. Another very important thing is your lunge line. Always hold your lunge line on the edge of your hand like this, on your fingers. Never get it back here. This way it could if something goes wrong, you get caught, you can get drugged. Always use it like this so you drop your hand and the line goes free. Now we'll proceed with lunging. When you start lunging them, you don't want to stand directly opposite them. See what happens? Their head comes back. They don't go forward. You stand with the line at an angle, a little behind their head, so that you are sending them forward. You cluck. You will hear a lot of clucking. Clucking is what makes them go forward right now. They have always been led. They don't know how to go forward on their own when asked. You let them walk for a while. They're comfortable with it. Then you'll get them to trot. You also do not stand too close to the rear end. You could be kicked. But see how your line stays so you're behind them. They go to turn their head, you walk behind them. You will do a lot of walking. Come on, Folly. Come on. Whoa. That's the very first thing you want to teach them. They learn whoa, and when you run into an emergency, you always say whoa, and they will stop if you've taught them properly. Okay, Folly. Come on. Whoa, whoa. Now there are 2 ways. So once you have them lunging comfortably that way, we take and we move the chain over their nose to the other side. I like to do them with a chain on their nose. That way you have control. If you don't and they decide to bolt, you could be dragged around. You don't always have to use it, but it's there when you want it. Also, when you move the chain to the other side, it's best to have another line, as I have here. In case anything goes wrong when this chain is off, you have control over them with the other chain. The other rope, I should say. Usually this way is more difficult, but they learn. It just takes time. Good girl, Folly. See? What a good girl. Everybody's watching you in school. And whoa, whoa. Good girl. Good girl. Yep. It's a good girl. Okay, one more time. Pay attention, pay attention. Come on. And whoa. Now after you've done this for a couple of days, about the second day, if they're really comfortable lunging like this, I usually introduce them to the second line. This is in preparation for driving them. You don't hook the second line up right away because they will be scared of it. You take this other line, I like to put my whip down, just toss it over there. We use this other line, we like to put it on them, let them get a little bit used to it. We don't want to just hook it up and go. They can be scared of it. So we just throw it around them a little bit, lay it on their hindquarters. You might do this for a day. If they're not too scared, you can go ahead and hook it up. What I generally do the first day, I lunge them with a second line, just kind of put it over their body. I do not do it up. This way, if anything goes wrong, whoa, Polly, whoa, 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 darling. Down too low. If anything should go wrong, you'll drop it and it's not attached to them. Once you've gotten them comfortable with this line, and you know they're not going to bolt and take off with you, then you can do it up. Whoa. Of course, you do that both ways before you do it up. Now she's learned, so now we will do the line up. I usually lunge them for about 2 days. So we're talking the third and fourth day. We're lunging like this with 2 lines. Whoa. Now when you reverse them, you let out this left hand and you walk behind them and you pick up the other line and turn them around. You might have to let this line out more. If you ever feel your lines aren't the way you want them, don't let them get tangled and messed up because you can't do anything. Just drop your line and pick it up. Very easy to do even while the horse is still going. Don't let your lines get knots and tangles. Probably the 4th or 5th day, when they're comfortable with both of these lines, I kind of fall behind them, teach them a little bit about driving. Now, if you have a horse that's going to throw their head in the air and want to get away from you, you might want to wait and do this driving after you have a surcingle and a martingale on. That will be our next step. Whoa! See, that magic word is very important, especially when you're behind them driving them. Come on, Polly. The driving teaches them to go forward and to steer, so that eventually when we get on this filly, you're going to have some kind of control. She's going to know how to steer. She's going to have an idea of going forward, which will make it much, much easier to ride her. Whoa! Now that we're done, this is about the 5th day, we're going to take her in and put a surcingle on her. About the 4th or 5th day, we're going to introduce her to a surcingle so she gets used to something tight around her stomach and eventually the girth. We put a martingale on, tie it up, because we're going to leave her in the stall with this on. It's best to do this with one person. You don't want, if anything should go wrong, you don't want 2 or 3 people in here, or 2 people, everyone saying, get out of my way, and this and that. You just have a short hold on them, with your left hand, and then you do things with your right hand. This good old baling string, this will secure the surcingle to the martingale, thus keeping the surcingle where it belongs, so it doesn't slide back here and act like a bucking strap where you will absolutely accomplish nothing. This just keeps it right where you want it in place. When you do the surcingle up, it's important that you do it securely so it stays in place, but not so tight that if they take a deep breath, it's going to cut them and they're going to freak out and get upset. You don't ever want to do it too tight to start, but yet secure enough that you don't have it try to slide back. This should keep it from sliding back. Now, after you've put that on, you take the chain off and you back out of the stall and you leave them in there by themselves so that they figure out what's going on. You're not near them. They're there with themselves to learn about the surcingle. We leave it on about an hour. And then the next day we'll put it on about half an hour before we go out so that when we go out, she's comfortable with it. Usually a couple days they're fine, and then you move on. Every horse is different, so you have to do things until they're comfortable. Now that we're ready to take her out with her surcingle, I like to do the martingale up. Once again, I just use a little piece of baling string to tie the martingale on. It's very important that you don't tie the martingale too tight. You might need it tight, but eventually. But if you put it too tight in the very beginning, a lot of horses will freak out. If they're used to going around like this and that hits them too tight. See how loose it is? Now, as time goes on, we'll tighten it up because she does tend to carry her head high, but we don't want to scare her with it the first day. Okay, now here's her first day with a surcingle on. I just go back to just the whip. In case they don't want to go, we just want as few things as possible. You start them out at a walk very slowly. First of all, whoa, I forgot, whoa. Since they've had this on for half an hour or so, it may be looser. So now, before you start, you might take another hole in it. Once again, never take 2 or 3 holes and make it too tight. You just want to secure your hands in there, and it's going to stay where it belongs. If you do it too tight and they get scared and panic, they're going to blow up and you're going to end up with a bucking horse, which we don't want. You walk them a while with this on. Come on, you're fine. Now you really can do 2 things at once, really. You'll learn. Come on. Once you feel that they're not nervous or upset with the surcingle on, then you can go ahead and ask them to trot. If they should, when you start trotting them, overreact and want to bolt or buck or anything, you just say, whoa. Stop them, talk to them, pet them, and start out walking again. And just keep doing this until they're really comfortable. Trotting and... Come on. And whoa. Good girl, huh? That's a good girl fall. Isn't it good? Now that she's comfortable with the surcingle on her, and she doesn't seem to be bothered by the martingale, we're going to tighten up the martingale and go back to driving her with the 2 lines. Now that we see she's comfortable and not going to overreact to the martingale, we're going to take that up 2 holes, and we're going to take and lunge her with the 2 lines with the surcingle both ways. Now now that she's used to these lines, I'm big on throwing things around, because the more you do, the more they're going to get used to. They also have to get used to the line dragging around. If you ever have a problem when you have the 2 lines on, you drop the other line and pull their head towards you. Say you're driving them and they want to bolt. Drop the right line and pull this around so that you don't lose your horse. But if you drop the other line, it may scare them. So at this time, you drag it around behind them so that when they're scared of one thing, they won't have 2 things to be scared of. Just walk around, let it drag around their legs. because accidents will happen and you will have to drop that line occasionally. Whoa. Now if your line's dragging, it's very easy. You put it in the other hand and just pick it up. Always keep your lines untangled. Good girl, Polly. We're still doing a lot of clucking. We'll be doing that until she is ridden and even in the beginning of riding. That's what they learn to make them go forward to clucking right now. And whoa, good girl. If clucking doesn't work, sometimes you can slap them with the back line. Come on. And whoa. When you're driving the babies, if you stay way far back, you have absolutely no control at all. The secret to driving them, get up, Polly, is to stay just far enough back where you're not going to get kicked. But this way, you have much more control over. You get your lines too long, you tend to lose control. But you never want to get this close, you're going to get kicked. Right about here is a good distance. And always watch your horse, so don't be looking someplace else. If they stop, you could get too close and get hurt. Always be watching your horse when you're driving. Another very important thing I like to teach the young ones is to, when you say stop, whoa, to make them stand. You don't want to make them stand 5 minutes, but you want them to stand until you're ready for them to move, not when they're ready. When you go to get on them and do things with them, you like a horse that stands still is much easier to handle. Now she stood very well, so we'll let her move on. Sometimes it takes a long time to teach them to stand, and you have to stand at their head. Walk around a little bit. Now that she's fishing at this, maybe a couple days with a surcingle, she's driving well, you have control. Maybe you've fooled with her 8 or 10 days, more like 8, 9. Now I think it's time to go and introduce her to the saddle. Before I put the saddle on them, I do this with them a couple days while they have the surcingle on. I square them up, and I get up next to them, slap them on the sides. Whoa, Polly, whoa. You can do this by yourself. Always wear your hard hat. Wait a minute. Always wear your hard hat. You never know when they're gonna jump or spook or knock you down. Even though you're not on them, you're pretending to be, so. Come on, Polly. Whoa. This way, when you put the saddle on, they're, it's not like they've never had anything against their side or slapping on them. Good girl, huh? What do you think, huh? You can do this by yourself. You just slap them around every place. Just kind of lean on them. You don't want them when they have the saddle on like nothing's ever happened up here before. You do this a couple of days. Get them used to things. Good girl. Also gets them used to you being high above. Like the rider will be someday, right, Missy? Huh? I think we're ready for the saddle now. Okay, we've just finished out there now. We're brought her in from the day's work. It's time to put the saddle on her in the stall. So we'll tie the martingale back up. Whoa. We leave the martingale on like we did with the surcingle to keep the saddle in its place. So we also will keep this little piece of baling string so that we can secure it to the saddle. We always do this once more by yourself and with the door closed. Now the saddle, you never want to surprise them. We've let the saddle sit outside her stall for a couple days so she can see it. Let them smell it, let them see it. What's that, huh? What's that, huh? Oh boy, you'll be riding horse folly. Once more, just keep a short hold with this hand. You lay your saddle on. Carefully, you walk around, you never duck under their neck, you walk around in front of them. You put the shank now in your right hand. Your left hand does the work over here. I use a girth with elastic in so that if they blow up and expand, it's not going to bind them. I also use a cloth girth. That's just something I started a few years ago. You will tie this string before you do the girth up, so that if there's any reaction to the girth, you're not here fumbling away trying to tie the string on while they're flying around the stall and the saddle's sliding. So it's best to tie this first. Just tie it up around the top of the stirrup. Just secure enough so it won't slide back. That's a good girl, huh? Keep their head up, make them pay attention. Let's pay attention to what we're doing. Pay attention, you're fine. Once more, you do it securely enough that it's going to stay where it belongs, but not so tight it's going to scare them. And we'll leave her in the stall like this. We take the shank off, and once more we'll back out of the stall. So we're not surprised if they do anything, they don't come up behind us. We'll leave her like this for 45 minutes or an hour today, and then tomorrow we'll put it on her about half an hour before we go out, and she'll be used to it by the time we go out. You know, she'll be comfortable with it, not used to it, comfortable with it on her back, and then we'll take her out tomorrow with a saddle. Some of them take longer. Some of them you have to leave the saddle on 2 or 3 days before you take them out. Now that she's had the saddle on, this is the second day with the saddle, we're going to put a bridle on her. We always leave the halter on. Something goes wrong and the bridle should break or the reins get caught up. If you've ever tried to catch a yearling with no halter on, you'd know what I'm saying. So we leave the halter on until we have a well-broken horse. It's just a safety precaution. The reason I wait and put the bridle on now is most of them have never had a bit on. I don't like to put it on in a stall. There are too many things they can catch their mouth on. Also, this is their first day. They get so busy chewing on the bit and wondering about the bit that sometimes they really forget that this saddle's on their back. It's what I call a little child psychology. We distract them from the saddle, and before they know it, they're fine. And it doesn't always work that way, but a lot of times it does. So she's been good with a martingale, and since she might get a little bit scared today and want to throw her head higher than usual, although this one, isn't doing it now, she did it in the beginning, we could take one more hole in this martingale, and I think that's where, before we take her out with a saddle. Whoa, Polly. Okay, now we're ready to take her out and lunge her for the first time with a saddle. Once more, we're going to keep the chain over her nose so that if she's scared with the saddle, and we have plenty of control. Also, having just put the bit in her mouth, we'll give her a few days of playing with the bit and getting used to it before we would start to drive her on the bit. And we have much more control if they get really scared and panicked with the chain. They're used to it, so we can get them used to the saddle with good control. Now we are ready to go out and learn about the saddle. We now have her out in our little enclosed area once more to introduce her to the saddle. We have the reins behind the stirrups so they don't get caught. We check the girth. The saddle's been on her a while. We can pull one more hole. One hole at a time is what we want to do. Not be too quick tightening it. Straighten this pad out a little bit, Polly. Once again, we're going back to the whip to start her with a saddle. It's less confusing than having two lines when you're introducing them to something new. Come on. You let them walk around with the saddle until they're comfortable. If they start to jump forward or bolt, you just say your magic word, whoa, and stop them, talk to them, pet them. And when you think they have walked around and are really comfortable with the saddle, then you may start trotting them. And when you start trotting them, if they get real tensed and tighten up, pull them up, stop them, and walk. And this may take 20 minutes or half an hour. But do everything slowly and quietly. Do not let them buck. Bucking is something they do when they're running loose. If you let them buck at every new thing, guess what? The rider's going to be the next thing. And you're going to have a horse that plays tricks and does things their way. If you prevent them from bucking, stop them from bucking, it's going to be much easier when you get up there to ride them. Also, they're going to respect you because they're going to listen to you and learn to listen to you so that, and that they won't learn bad habits. Come on. Come on, get. Come on, Folly. Get. After they've trotted, come on, comfortably with the saddle and you're secure with it, you can stop them. Whoa. At this time, you notice we haven't put the stirrups down yet. Now we'll put the stirrups down so that they bang on their sides, and we'll go to the two lines because I think they're rather comfortable. This will be very different. They're not used to anything banging as they go along. But this is in preparation to your leg will be there next. So they must learn to get used to things banging on their sides. All this throwing things around is just getting them used to everything, making them more comfortable. When things scare them, they won't be as scared because they're used to you doing so many things with them. Come on, Folly. You'll think that the two lines are very cumbersome, but they really aren't. Takes practice. And whoa. You don't always turn them when you stop them because then they start to anticipate. You turn them when you're ready, not when they're ready. No. You notice all we've done is walk and trot the horse. And this is all we do because we like to keep it a nice, quiet, peaceful education. Eventually you'll see we will canter her, but not yet. No. Oh, Folly. Okay, now I think Folly's pretty used to the saddle. We've done a couple days. I guess we're about 3 weeks into her working with her, 2.5, 3 weeks. She's used to the saddle. She's had the bit in her mouth for a couple of days. So now we're going to take the chain off the nose and we're going to put the lines on the bit. And this is where we're going to teach her how to drive. We're going to use the bit. I always like to use a full cheek bit so that when you turn, if they resent, it's not going to go through their mouth. The little D-ring things can slide right through their mouth. You pull the whole bridle around. This kind of keeps everything sturdy and just gives you a little more, kind of pushes when you pull one way and you know it won't go through their mouth. So now we'll lunge her in here. Come on, Folly. We'll lunge her in here with the bit just so she's comfortable, you're comfortable, you think you have control. Drive her a little bit. About now she's pretty tired of this little paddock. So once you think you have good control, then we'll progress to a bigger area with, drive her around a little bit with the bit on and whoa. Just make sure you have control before you leave here. I think we're in good order, so we're going to move on to a larger, still enclosed area. When we have her in this enclosed area, we do a lot of steering her around the fences. We want to make sure when we go out of the closed area that we have plenty of control. Whoa! Always good to stop them now and again, make sure they're listening and you're still in control. You don't have the chain now, you just have the bit. When we feel that we're secure, that we can maintain control, then we're going to go on out and go up the road and learn new things. This will be a good shot. If clucking doesn't always work and you want them to go faster, slap them. Whoop, oh, you overreacted, Missy. Just slap them with the line on either side, whichever side you want. Good girl. Like this, don't you? Whoa, darling. Once again, watch your horse. Don't get too close. You don't want to get kicked. Okay, full circle. Come on. Turn tight. I think we have pretty good control, so I think we'll go out and learn something different now. Oh, missed. And whoa. Now that we've driven her around the farm, we're going to drive her off the farm. We're going to teach her traffic, and a lot of times when they come out here, they're not sure of the change from the gravel to the grass. It seems silly, but it scares them. Whoa. So what I do when they first come out here and they're a little scared, I take and I lead them across to give them the confidence. Come on. They get scared, the black marks on the road and things. Once you get them used to it, you just turn them on around. You may have to lead them 2 or 3 times, but it's just something different. They're off the farm. They've never seen anything like it. Once they're used to going from the grass, from the gravel to the grass, then you can take them, and now we're going to start and drive up the road, exposure to traffic. Come on, Folly, you're good. Come on, come on. Come on, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. Come on, you're okay. Don't drag that one. See, now they're off the farm. They're out of their secure area. They're out in the world. They have to learn. And this is how they learn while you're still on the ground driving them. Come on, let's see if we can go up the hill. That's a good girl. Come on, you're fine. Come on, we're going up the road. Come on, you're fine. Come on, down the hill. Like to go up and down hills, on and off the road. Now we're going to take her through the woods. Whoa, 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 you're fine. You're fine, you're off the property, you're fine. Whoa. Come on, Chuck. Whoa, Whoa, you're okay. You're okay. Whoa, pal, you're fine. You're fine. Time has only allowed us to show you a small part of the driving. We have driven her through the fields, through the cornfields next door. The more driving you do with them and the more things they're exposed to, the easier it's going to be when you ride them. You're a good girl. See, you're fine. Okay, we've been standing up next to her and things. Now's the day to actually lay across her. Always make sure they're standing square in front. They're not used to weight. It's going to be a shock to their system. This is Pam Thompson, my neighbor, who is kindly, now you need help. You need a good ground man. You need somebody that knows horses, knows what they're doing, and knows not to overreact. So Pam has kindly consented to come and help me. Now we've been doing this laying on her, and we've been slapping the saddle around, banging, getting up and down. Sometimes it scares them as you go up and down. Bang them with your knee, because you're going to do it when you get on with your foot. Now we're going to put weight on her back for the first time. They're not used to it. It's a good girl. What do you think, huh? Usually we walk 2 or 3 steps at a time and then stop. I'm ready, Pam, when you are. Whoa, that's a good girl. If you find they're not too scared, they're comfortable, you walk some more. That's good. Whoa, see, she's a little sure. Come on, pay attention. Okay, walk on. Keep your hand a little further away from her mouth because she'll try and chew on you. Keep going, we're fine. We're fine. When you're up here, you slap them on both sides. Move around, jump up and down. I like to get so they think I'm up on top of them. This gives them the feel of a rider up high above their heads. Fall back down, slap them, hit them. You're doing a good job, Fowl, it's okay. Hit them on both sides, all right, whoa. Jump down. And you'll repeat this 2 or 3 times till you think they're really comfortable. Go back and do it again. We'll do it one more time. Always get them squared up before you get on them. You don't want them off balance before you jump on them, then they're really going to be scared. Good girl, Fowl, huh? Think, huh? Good girl. Nothing to it, huh? Be a broke horse before you know it. Whoa, whoa. Always talk to them. Your voice gives them confidence when you're doing things. Good girl. Walk on. You'll notice we're still clucking. We cluck so we don't have to drag them so much because they're used to leading, but not used to leading with the weight on them. Usually for 4 days, maybe 5 days, till they're comfortable and can carry the weight without staggering. Come on, pay attention. That's the time we will go next to someone riding, sitting up on them. Good girl. And whoa. I think you're ready for someone to sit up. You might even be relieved. I've been doing this for 25 or 30 years, but about 4 or 5 years ago, I stopped being the first person to get on them. So I just get them ready for the rider. Another reason for leaving the halter on is when you lead them around, when someone's laying on them, you really can't tow them with the bit. If you have your hand up here, they try and bite. They don't lead well pulling them by the bit because they're unstable anyway. So if you have the holder, it's much better. If you expect one to be quite fractious and you're a little concerned, you can leave the chain over the nose for security and control. Basically, they don't want to go forward with the weight, so you're just as well just snapping it on the holder. It's that rare one that is really ready, whether you're on them or not, laying on them or not, that you will take. If there's a problem, you can just take and put the chain over their nose. But basically, this works. Okay, we've just come back from driving, and Glenn's going to get on her today. And for the last couple days, we've been, after we drive her, we lunge her and we make her canter. I like them to canter on the lines before someone gets on them. So in case they should go fast enough to canter, they're used to cantering with the saddle on before the rider gets on. Oh, sometimes you find they're easier to get cantering one way than the other. And it's less exhausting for you, and I think this is her better way to canter, so we'll try this. No, 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 no. When I think she's cantering comfortably, then we'll stop, bring her back to a jog. Once I realize she could canter without playing games. A little slippery today, so I think that'll be enough cantering in a tight circle. Whoa, good girl. Now she's ready for Glenn to ride her. Whoa, whoa, Folly. Whoa, that's a good girl. That's a good girl. Yep, riding horse, here we go. Come on. And whoa. We're ready to ride now. This is Glenn Loatman, who has gotten on my yearlings for the last 4 or 5 years, and this will be his second day. You know, he did what I did out in front of the barn and sat up on her one day, and now we're out here in the small paddock, and we're going to proceed, see what we get. Good girl, follow. Oh, okay, let me turn her around here. We like to put their rear end, whoa, hold on, back them up towards the fence in case they decide to run backwards, they're stopped. Whoa, good girl.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and talk to her. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Good girl, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. It's awful slippery in here, so we might stay in here too. Whoa, you're fine. You're fine. Good girl. Whoa. Should we go on? Okay. We'll do this until Glenn is comfortable with her. Sometimes we'll do this for 2 or 3 days. But even after he sits up the next day, we might do this again. Come on. Fine. Whoa. Good girl. You're fine. Good girl. You can see now how she can handle the weight, all the things the days I spent laying on her like this in front of the barn. 4 or 5 days. She's learned now she's not pulling with the weight on her. And whoa, I like to stop them in different places sometimes. Where you hop off and we'll go over, back over. You ready, Fob? Come on. Good girl. Always make sure your girth is tight before they get on, but not too tight. Good girl.
Yeah.
Regular riding horse. This is going to be easy after that laying.
Yeah. Yeah. And walk on. Walk on.
Now I will lead Glenn around until he feels comfortable with her, at which time I'll unhook her.
Walk on.
Generally the first day we may spend the whole day leading him, depending on the individual.
Good, Billy. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, walk on.
I try as I go along just to sort of be there and let Glenn do it. I'm here for emergencies. Now I've been the boss, but now Glenn is. Whoever's up there I consider in charge, the boss. Okay, this way. You're fine.
Walk on. Walk on. Walk on. Oh.
Now undo her, okay? Now when I first undo her the first day, I stay with Glenn for a while.
Walk on. Good
So I'm
girl.
there if something goes wrong. And
Good girl.
he's
Walk
in
on.
charge, I'm just here.
Walk on.
Whoop. A little slippery today, Missy.
Walk on.
Why don't you turn right and then let me get in the middle.
Good, Billy. Walk on.
And I follow him around for a bit,
Walk on.
and then kind of fade away from him, but I kind of stay behind in case they don't want to go. I just walk around a little bit till Glenn feels comfortable that doesn't need extra encouragement from me. Now you don't ride them too long in here. They get bored. We call this the playpen. Once you feel that you've walked and trotted in here enough and have control, then we move on to the larger field. Maybe you spend a day in here, maybe two. It depends on the individual entirely. Go on, Polly. We'll just do a little trotting in here and then we'll move out, Glenn. As a ground man, you always are aware of what's going on. You just don't to somebody or walk off. You stay and you watch the horse and the rider in case there's a problem. You're right there. When he first trots them, he does a sitting trot till they get used to the feel of of somebody on them trotting. When they're comfortable, then he'll start posting. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Go on, Polly. Get up. Come on, up. Come on. Just a little trot the other way, maybe we'll move out. Sometimes when you're sure that you're comfortable with them in here, that they'll be more forward going in a bigger area. You just have to make sure that you're comfortable on them before you move. That's a good girl. You tell me when you're ready, Glenn. Okay, I think we'll walk on out with her now to the bigger field and do a little more with her. Okay, now when we bring her back out to the bigger field, I lead Glenn around, although as you know, she's driven around here and seen all the fences, but such a big area, I lead him around until she looks at everything again and he's comfortable with her.
Yeah. Welcome. Welcome.
Because although they've seen all these things, when somebody gets on them, everything looks very different to them. Yeah. Glenn will practice stopping her before I let him go, just to make sure even we're in a bigger area and she listens to him. Good girl. Good girl, Polly. Just lead you around this turn and then let go of you down the other side. She says, it's awful windy today, Mom. You're fine. Come on, come on, come on. I think you're going to be all right. You'll see how she doesn't mind his legs or the whip tapping her and things. That's all that laying on them and slapping them around that I do. Nothing surprises them that way. You walk them around until they're comfortable with the place before you proceed trotting and cantering. He's talking to her all the time, and that just gives her the confidence. They get confidence in the people, and it transfers to them. Got some bikes coming up the road there. She says, I want to see the bike. There they go. got to realize some days they're good, some days they're bad. They're like children, you know, they're not always going to be the same every day. Thing is, if you have a day and they've done a lot of good things and they start being bad, wait, don't push and fight. Try to go back and do the good things and keep what you have accomplished rather than lose what you've accomplished. The next day you'll find that they'll do everything that you want. Trying to get her to walk forward so they just don't walk in place and crouch back. He wants her forward going. The biggest thing I like to do is to get them relaxed, peaceful. They're going to play games. They're going to try little tricks now and again. As long as it's not nasty, it's just playful, then there's no problem. You can see that she doesn't mind him up there at all. Perfectly relaxed with Glenn up there. You'll notice when Glenn changes direction, he'll move his whip from one side to the other, so the whip is always on the outside, especially when you go around by the barn. They always like to pull towards the barn, but he'll always have his whip on the outside so that they don't. Just all these little things you have to do. And they all count. Now she's shouldering in, so he's moved his whip back. There he goes, see? As soon as she starts to go that direction, he'll slip it back over. It's a windy day and everything's blowing, and you know how they look extra hard at everything. I think she's been quite good for windy as it is. You work them till you're happy with them, but not to the point of total exhaustion, because then they're going to get resentful. Try a little canter when you feel you can. They always have a little hump in their back, usually when they start cantering. Just a natural thing. That was good. I think we're getting to the bottom of her. It's been so good, we don't want to undo anything. Just get another canter. I think we'll be fine. Yeah, whenever you're comfortable and she's real forward going, then we can stop with her for the day. You know, I like to get them walk, trotting, cantering around this field, figure eighting before I stop with them, turns around the jumps. You can take them out across country if you want, since they've been driven out through there just walking, but you always do it with an older horse to give them the confidence. Let's face it, horses are natural herd animals and they do like company. But for years, I would take the yearlings out with an older horse, ride them out through the country. Once again, we just walk and trot them. They don't need a whole lot of that because the ground's going to tighten up here. But better. That was great, Glenn. Really, really good. Really good. Oh yeah, really good. Good girl, Polly. You're a riding horse now. Yep. Well, just a few more thoughts now that we've educated our baby. I've been using this process for show horses and hunters and race horses, largely race horses over the years, and the trainers have all been very pleased. They've all called my horses well educated as opposed to well broken. So I think that says something for the system. Just remember, you're dealing with children. They're very young. You have to go slowly, take your time. The slower you go, the more they're sure of what they're doing before you progress, the better you'll be. They also need a day off, as you will find you do too. So good luck and thank you.